Free to play, the final frontier, Trials Frontier, that is. Chris John for KaijuPop.com. This is Trials Frontier on iPhone. It is kind of a bid to get everybody excited for the new super duper and very cool looking Trials game that's coming out on all the everythings in a week or two. But in the meantime, there's this free to play game that's popped up on iOS and Android, I believe. First thing you kind of notice, it's very early on in the game, but first thing you kind of notice is, yep, all them free-to-play currencies in the top right. You've got petrol that has to refill. It refills if you level up, or you have to wait there. You've also got coins that you can spend on things, and gems that you can also spend on things. So two currencies and an energy system. That's wonderful. But yeah, so far, because I am very, very early on and I'm leveling hand over fist, I haven't run into any issues yet. Yeah, the other thing is, with this Trials game, is that there are crafting items in it, and there's a sort of RPG-light structure to everything, possibly to make the free-to-play stuff make sense. So you go into saloon. I mean, the idea is that you're in a sort of Old West kind of setting, but there's also bikes. I don't know. And you talk to characters. They give you things to do. Candy addict. So the idea is generally that you're supposed to be riding these Trials tracks, whereas Trials is kind of usually about, and Trials Fusion would be the same, usually about sort of, well, getting through these tracks and doing as well as you can. In this game you have extra little quests, so certain characters will tell you to do a backflip or, get 10 coins in this case, and every time you go for things, you lose petrol, so you can only okay, right, so you go through checkpoints to get more coins. That's how you get those, or you can buy coins, of course. There you go. So yeah, in the actual game itself, it's kind of, well, it's Trials kind of, just not quite as good, I don't think. The thing is, there's been tons of Trials game, because Trials, and this is proper Trials from Ubi and Redlinks. It's been a really long time coming to iOS, and even though Redlinks have been putting games, and decent games, out on iOS for a while, they did the Draw Race series, a couple of games there. They even had the sort of Trials like. What was the game called? Monster Trucks, not Monster Truck. There was a Monster Truck game, but they also had that Wii game that was kind of platformy. And yeah, the problem is, Trials in itself has taken this long to get to iOS, and the real problem that I have with this is that there are plenty of other, decent Trials clones that you can get on iPhone now that probably do Trials Frontier better than Trials Frontier does, and they don't have this silly mechanic where you have to spend 5 petrol just to retry a race and get better at it. And yeah, just so far, admittedly very, very early on, but I'm not really feeling it when it comes to the track design. It's not anywhere near as spectacular as certainly the last Trials game was on the old Xbox there, and it's it has nothing on Trials Fusion from what I've seen, and yeah, it just seems kind of a little bit phoned in, and with these weird characters sort of tacked on top. But anyway, so there's races going on, but you can't win this race for now. Just try and make it to the finish line, because I suspect you're going to be selling me upgrades to do better. But yeah, virtual buttons on the screen, which are fairly responsive. Fall down a crash there. You know, because yeah, it is. Something's kind of lost in a way because Trials is all about analog control. That's really important to Trials on the consoles and PC. You know, delicate throttle control, delicate leaning, and what have you. And that's kind of missing here, but it's decent enough. It's just that when you compare this to Byte Baron on iOS and mobile, then you know that Byte Baron kind of blows Trials away in terms of everything that Trials has done, in terms of just really sort of spectacular, quick movement. This is fairly slow going, although I'm sure I'll upgrade my stuff and get quicker later on. It's made slower by the fact that there are wait times. You can see down here, when I run out of petrol, you get a refuel after a certain period of time. I'm presuming the further I get into this game, the longer I'll have to wait, but yeah, all the same. I mean, this is free to play. It's kind of full of this sort of gross structure, and you kind of, as always, you just like to pay one time to get rid of this stuff. But yeah, I mean, Byte Baron didn't have this stuff. It was just pay to go, and has had tons of levels and tons of updates since, and a track editor, which this is missing, which led to all the great community creations that game had, and it's well curated, and it is just a case of, hey, let's play, you know, let's go through and let's see how well you can do, and we'll have special tasks on each thing for you know, special unlocks and what have you, and it's not bogged down by this stuff. I don't think that. Oh great. Oh okay. Yeah. So there's wait time for upgrading your bike as well, and just the thing of upgrading your bike and gaining crests and stuff. That's not what Trials is about. Trials is about just like having really silly fun. Okay. Hey, you know, at least my fuel tank's gradually getting bigger, and okay, there's this kid. He always wants me to do silly flips and whatnot. So I suppose let's do that. Get that front flip. I need to get mad air here. There we go. Hey, I did it. Yeah, so these quests are dependent on fulfilling the task and then getting to the finish line as well. And the better I do, the more points I get. There you go. I gather that this has been in soft launch in other territories for a while. I gathered that the free-to-play-ness of it has been tweaked, and I think, you know, probably, I dread to think what it was like before, probably wholly gross. But, I mean, this isn't... I've played worse when it comes to free-to-play stuff. It's just, yeah, I'd rather that this wasn't free to play. Yeah, instead it feels like a little bit of a grab in advance of Trials Fusion coming out, which I am excited for. But yeah, anyway, let's see if we can get through one more track before we call it here. Well, maybe not. No coins this way. There we go. And yeah, there are medals involved, which is kind of typical trial style structure, where, you know, it'll give you a different medal depending on how many times you crash and how many times you know, and your time for completing the track. But, I mean, every time you want to retry a level that you've done before in order to get better at it, then it'll cost you petrol, so that's a pain in the arse. Leave a review and let the others know too. I don't know, I think this video will suffice, so I'll say no thanks to that. Yeah, so that's Trials Frontier. It's... yes, as I said, there's been greedier examples of free-to-play, but this still feels a little bit cynical, and it's just a little bit flat, and there are probably better ways of playing trial-style games on your iPhone. Chris Charlton for KojuPop.com. Thanks for watching. Bye.